Hi, this is Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Thank you so much for being here for our Move to Panama Q&A live stream. This live stream is all about answering your questions about moving to and living in Panama. I'll let you know in just a little bit when you can start asking your questions. First, I have two important announcements to make. The first announcement is that our all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama relocation tours were sold out for 2024 and even in January of 2025. So I added two more tours. We have another tour for October 25th through November 1st and a tour for November 1st through November 8th. So we have some, and those are already more than 50% sold out. So if you're interested in coming to Panama to see how you can live better for less, I encourage you to sign up for one of those two tours. You can go to our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com, click on Book a Tour. We only require a $500 per person deposit to reserve your spot. But grab your seat while it's still available because they are selling out pretty fast. My other really big announcement that I couldn't wait to share with you is, let me explain the history of it first, and then I'll explain the solution. So a lot of U.S. citizens have Medicare or maybe Medicare Advantage. And Medicare does not cover you here in Panama, but if you have Medicare Advantage, it covers urgent care and emergencies here in Panama. However, even though your insurance says we cover you, the hospitals don't accept that insurance, or they didn't accept that insurance. So that meant if you had a medical emergency, you had to prepay the hospital. For example, when I got COVID a few years ago and I was in the hospital for 9 days, I had to pay $15,000 up front, and then I had to file a claim to get reimbursed. Just a few weeks ago, someone had a heart attack and they had to have a stent put in. They had to pay $14,000 up front, and now they're having to file a claim to wait to be reimbursed. So that's the way it's been here in Panama with Medicare Advantage. Even though your insurance says they'll cover you, the hospitals didn't accept the insurance. So for about almost 5 years, I've been working on coming up with a solution for that, and I finally have the solution. There's billing companies that are located all over the world that work with hospitals so the hospital can accept Medicare Advantage and TRICARE and other insurance, and then they take care of all the billing. And that involves that they're going to have to get all the bills translated into English, they're going to have to code everything, and then they create the claim that they send to the insurance company. So I finally found a company after almost 5 years that was willing to come to Panama, talk to the hospitals, and we have the first hospital already set up, Hospital Cherokee in David, Panama, which is in far western Panama. They're set up and ready to go. Also, by the end of September, we'll have 3 different hospitals in Panama City, one in Coronado, a clinic in Coronado, and a hospital in Chitre. So if you have a medical emergency and you have one of the approved insurances, then you won't have to prepay. You just show your insurance card, and then they contact the billing company, and everything is taken care of. I have a new article on my website. It's called Why You Should Keep Medicare If You Move to Panama. And it has a list of the approved insurances. And if you have an insurance and it's not approved on one of the approved insurances, it's what you can do to switch over to an insurance so that you don't have to prepay. If you go to a hospital that's not on our approved list, you're going to have to prepay, and then you're going to have to file a claim. If you have an insurance that's not on our approved insurance list, you're going to have to pay up front, and then you're going to have to file a claim. However, if you get one of these insurances and you have any kind of a medical emergency, then you're not going to have to prepay. You just show your insurance card and they take care of everything else. I've been trying so hard to get this to happen for, like I said, almost 5 years, and I'm so excited that it's finally happening. in Panama. It was much needed. It just is a game changer because people were worried about moving to Panama. What if I have a stroke? What if I have a heart attack? And it's, a lady fell down and broke her hip a few weeks ago. It was $27,000 for the surgery for a hip. Can you imagine if you had to come out of pocket $27,000 to pay the hospital first and then file a claim and wait to get your money back? That it's not a good situation. So I finally solved that problem. And if you get one of these insurances, you will not have to prepay if you go to one of our approved hospitals. So that was my big news. You can read more about it in the article that I wrote on our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com, and just check the article about why you should keep Medicare if you move to Panama. Even though you can't use Medicare, it explains why you need to keep it, because then you can convert over to Medicare Advantage. Okay, those are my two big announcements. We added 2 new tours for 2024, and this big exciting news about not having to prepay if you have a medical emergency. So this is how the whole purpose of these Wednesday night calls is to answer your questions. And the way you're going to have to do that, unfortunately, I can't click on your name and unmute it and put you on the screen so we can talk together. You're going to have to type your question into the chat window, and you'll have to put 3 question marks in front of it, because there's all kinds of conversations going on over there on the side, and I can't even read them all. By the way, Debbie Klappa, you see Chuck and Debbie, it's actually Debbie Klappa. She's our moderator and over there. And so if anybody is out there promoting their services or selling an MLM or gold bars or something, she's going to boot you right out of the group. But my purpose is to look for those 3 question marks. I'm going to click on it and pop it on the screen, and then I'll answer it just like this one. So, have you seen what's going on with the FMP for veterans? Yes, I've seen what's going on with the FMP for veterans. So FMP stands for Foreign Medical Program, and it's been basically shut down in most of Panama because of some suspected fraud that was going on, and it's not a good situation. When I have more news about it and what a solution is for people that relied on FMP, then I'll let you know what it is. Let's see. Does the new insurance work for Canadians too? The new insurance does not work for Canadians too, unless you have United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Kaiser Permanente, Cigna, Aetna. If you have one of those insurances, it works, but it doesn't work for most of the Canadian insurances. Jackie, please clarify that you can receive no kickbacks for insurance work you just announced. Yes, I should have mentioned that. A lot of people think that all this work I did is so I can make some extra money. Well, I'm not. If you use one of our approved insurance brokers, and they're both listed for Medicare Advantage, they're both listed in that article, I get no commission at all. If you have some kind of a medical emergency and you use this insurance, I don't make a penny on it. I didn't do this to make money. I did this because I need it for myself if I have a medical emergency, but also you needed it. It just breaks my heart whenever I would read about these people. Like a few months ago, there was a lady that paid $40,000 when her husband had to have emergency heart surgery, and then a lot of complications happened. They didn't have any insurance at all, and they had to pay $40,000, and that breaks my heart. So now there's no excuse not to get one of these insurances, so that if you have a medical emergency, you're not going to have to prepay. Sylvia, thank you for bringing that up. I should have mentioned it. So Greg says, Jackie, could you please share your thoughts about Altos del Maria? So I've been to Altos del Maria, and the houses are nice. The road to get there is terrible. And there's just nothing there. You're going to have to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get back into Coronado, or even further to get into Panama City if you want to buy anything. little bit too isolated for my taste. What's the name of the billing company you found that handles the billing between the insurance company and the hospital? I'm not going to divulge the name of the billing company. The billing company does not have a contract with you. You don't have to sign up with them. The billing company has a contract with the hospital. So any other questions that you have about your insurance, if it's not on that list, it's not going to be approved. But the billing company has a contract with the hospital, and they'll be dealing directly with the hospital. There's no reason for them to be in touch with you or you to be in touch with them. Charge fees for processing the medical claim. There's no charge at all to you for processing the claim. All you have to do is show your insurance card. It's not going to cost you a penny. That's the other thing. Some of the companies I talked to, you were going to have a charge. And the whole purpose of this, so that you wouldn't have to sweat and worry if you had a medical emergency that you'd have to pay anything. It should be you just show your insurance card, but you don't have to pay anything. There's no charge to you. And for some reason, this little click and show this question's not working very well. Hello, Jackie. Are there pet veterinarians and pet day camps in Panama? Also great news about the Medicare Advantage. So there are veterinarians all over the place. Hold on. I'm still getting over that bronchitis. Okay. So there are great pet veterinarians all over the place. I use a vet that comes, my cat Buster. You've seen him before in some of our live streams. He hates to ride in the car. He screams and hollers and poops all over the place if I put him in the car. So I'm really lucky that I have a veterinarian that will come to my house for $25, and plus extra if there's any lab work or medications that he has to give him. There are a few places where they have pet day camps, but it's not everywhere in Panama. Just to clarify, you have to be 65 to get Medicare Advantage from your brokers. Yes, you have to qualify for Medicare Advantage, you have to be 65 unless, from what I understand, if you've been legally 100% disabled, and then you can get Medicare Advantage sooner than whenever you're 65. I'm going to do some live streams probably in September or October. I'll do some live streams with our Medicare Advantage preferred brokers. And the reason they're preferred because they both have more than 20 years of experience working exclusively with expats. So, if you get Medicare Advantage in the U.S., that's one thing, but Medicare Advantage to use it when you live overseas, it's a whole different animal. So you need someone that really knows that system. And so I'll do some live streams with them in September, October to answer questions about it. I'm from Australia on tour on the 20th through the 27th of September. Is there a chance of renting and driving in Boquete a rental car despite our lawyer had started our temporary pensionado visa 2 weeks earlier? There's no chance at all that you're going to be able to get a rental car. What you might want to do is postpone your appointment for getting your visa until after you've done your driving around, but you cannot, once you've applied for a visa, once they even just put the stamp in your passport that you're going to apply for a visa, even before you actually have the visa card, you can no longer drive on your foreign license. And Jess says, hi Jackie, on the pensionado visa, can I bring my 18-year-old? Also, would she be allowed to go to college and intern work? I'm already retired. Your 18-year-old daughter can be added as a dependent to your visa. However, I would recommend that the better way to do it, there's two ways to add a minor. One is you can add them as a dependent right away at the same time that you apply, but it's better if you wait and add them after you get your permanent visa, because then it's called reunification. Because if you add her when she's 18, by the time she turns 24, she's going to have to apply for her own visa. She can't be just your dependent anymore. If you wait and add her after you get your permanent visa, then she can go ahead and get her permanent visa. It'll take 2 years, but she'll get her permanent visa and she won't have to reapply. Dennis says, if you have Medicare Advantage plan, what do I do for checkups, general physician, dentist, and mental health practitioners? So the Medicare Advantage in overseas only covers you for medical emergencies. For all those other things, for checkups, dentist, and all those other things, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. Medicare Advantage only covers emergencies. There is insurance available in Panama if you don't have pre-existing conditions that you could get that could cover some of those things. Robin wants to know, I would like to get on the November tour. Are there any documents other than a passport that I need to bring? Nothing else that you need besides a passport and an adventurous spirit. That's all you need to come on a Panama relocation tour. Grab a seat before they're sold out. Why does original Medicare through AARP not work? So United Healthcare through AARP, that is Medicare Advantage. But just regular Medicare Part A and Part B, it does not cover you overseas at all. It has to be a Medicare Advantage plan. Like I said, I'm going to get some Medicare Advantage experts on a live stream soon to answer any questions about that. The good news is, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you have a medical emergency in Panama and you go to one of our approved hospitals, you won't have to prepay. That was the big announcement. I'm a senior Canadian retiring next year, hopefully on a pensionado visa in Panama. However, my 25-year younger wife wants to earn income on Panama. Can she get a different visa? Yes, your 25-year-old wife can certainly get a different visa. I would recommend that she gets the Friendly Nation visa. If you go to, and there's an expensive way and there's the affordable way to get the Friendly Nation visa. If you go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours, we have an article called 4 Ways to Get a Friendly Nation Visa. Look at item number 4. That would be perfect for her, and it wouldn't cost very much money. Pete wants to know, how long are you able to stay in Panama if you were unable to claim income? I have to wait a few years for Social Security, but planning on moving on March 25th. So as a tourist, if you're from North America, as a tourist, you can stay for 180 days. That's it. So what I would recommend is that you get a different visa. If you've got a few years before you get Social Security, you should get a Friendly Nation visa. Once again, check out that article about 4 ways to get a Friendly Nation visa. Check out item number 4. That would make it possible for you to live in Panama indefinitely, and which is much better. Is there medical insurance for someone over 75 years old? There is. Hospital Santa Fe in Panama City, they have their own health insurance plan that has no age restrictions. They're pretty lenient about any pre-existing conditions also. If you go to our website and you search health insurance options, we have an article about all the different health insurance that's available, and I have information and a link to the Hospital Santa Fe insurance. Even if you're 80, 90 years old, you can get an insurance policy at Hospital Santa Fe, and it's a really good hospital. It will be one of the hospitals that we'll be adding for you to go if you have Medicare Advantage, so you can go there and you won't have to pay anything if you have a medical emergency. If I have tax residency in Panama and own only global income, do I have to file and/or pay taxes in Panama? You do not. You only have to pay taxes in Panama if you sell any products or services in Panama. Then you have to pay taxes in Panama. But if all of your income is derived from someplace else, like Social Security, a business that you have in another country, you don't have to pay taxes and you don't have to file a tax return in Panama. The catch is, if you have a corporation in Panama, even if it has no activity at all, then you're going to have to file an annual tax return for your corporation. By the way, if your question has scrolled up off the screen and I don't see it anymore, I'm very sorry. but you're going to have to retype it in because these are coming in so fast. I can't get to them as fast as they are. I'm confused about the FMP situation. Does that mean that we can't get it now? It means that you can't get it now at many of the places that you previously gotten it. I would suggest that you contact one of the veteran service officers. So if you go to VSO overseas and then click on VSO, it has a list of all the veteran service officers. Contact them and ask them, what are you supposed to do? Because if you've been going to some of the different clinics or getting meds from some of the different pharmacies or going to Hospital Breezes, is on the list that their operations are suspended. You can't do that anymore. So you need to contact a veteran service officer, or also there's a Facebook page for the American Legion that's in Coronado, and go there and ask them, now what? Because you can't use FMP. Well, you can, just not at any of the locations that are under investigation. Physical certificate. I know that Panamanian government does the health check. What does it entail and what does it cost? So your immigration attorney is going to arrange for you to get the health certificate. Sometimes by magic, you don't even have to see a doctor to get this health certificate. But if you do, they're going to ask you some questions like, do you have HIV? You know, have you had any surgeries that you had complications with? So they might ask you some questions like that. But very often, your attorney will just ask you some questions. They'll contact the doctor, say, no, they don't have HIV or any other diseases that could be transmitted, and then they'll just arrange for you to get the health certificate. And dear one, can a full-day driver be hired daily to get us around in Cherokee at approximate cost? I'm sure that you could contact a driver, like a taxi driver, that would take you around all day. My guess, it depends on where all you wanted to go. Like if you want to go from David to Boquete to Volcan, and then go out to Boca Chica, and then maybe go to Las Olas. It depends on how far you want to go, how many miles they're going to put on their car. I would guesstimate about $100 a day. Are there any specific rules that is considered an emergency to use the Advantage plan? Yes, it would be something that would put you in the emergency room because you have excruciating pain. You know, it's not going to be for like a sinus infection or something like that. It's something you would go to the emergency room for. For some reason, this little button I have to click to pop up the questions isn't working very well, so I apologize for that. I have 3 small dogs I intend to bring next year. Can you share with me what is the cost? The cost might be. Thanks in advance. So if your small dog can fit underneath the seat in front of you, the rule is, and on airlines, you can only have 1 person, 1 dog underneath the seat in cabin. If you've got 3 small dogs and it's only you traveling, that means 2 dogs are going to have to go in cabin. I'm sorry, in cargo. 1 can go in cabin, the other ones are going to have to go in cargo. And between the International Health Certificate, the certification by the Agriculture Department, the authentication with Panama Consulate, and then the cost of the actual transport, you can guesstimate about $500 per dog. It might be a little bit less, but I'd rather to give you a higher number than have you shocked by what it's going to be. So guesstimate about $500 for a small dog. We have an article on our website about bringing your pets to Panama. And I actually have a chart from Copa Airlines, which is the best airline to use if you're transporting pets to Panama, that has, depending on the size of the carrier, what it's going to cost to get it in cargo. Another option would be that you could have all 3 dogs in cabin with you on a charter flight for about $7,500. So you and all 3 dogs, no carrier, nothing going in cargo. So that's an option too. Eric wants to know, I'll be in Panama City next month for 3 weeks. Just found out I might need to get some dental work done. What are the chances of getting seen by a dentist? and how quickly can I find one. So one of the dentist offices, there's a lot of great dentists in Panama City, but one of the dentist offices that a lot of our clients have used and they're very, very pleased with it is called Momentum. We actually have a video about it on our YouTube channel, but just search Momentum Panama City and you'll see some information about it. I'm sure you could get in right away to get the dental work done. They're absolute pros, and I've never heard of anybody being disappointed in their work, and very, very pleased with their prices also. John wants to know, should I plan to buy a car in Panama City after arriving at the airport, or is it better to buy a car in David once we make our way to Boquete where we'll be living? Well, it depends if you're going to buy a used car, if you're going to buy a new car. There's much more car selection in Panama City than there is going to be in David or Boquete. One of the things you might do, John, is we have a list of car brokers in our online Panama relocation guide. You could contact them in advance and let them know what you're looking for, whether it's a used car or a new car, and they could have something already lined up for you in Panama City, even come to the airport and pick you up in your car that you're going to be buying. So that might be the streamlined way to do it, is to use our car brokers. They only charge a couple $100 for their service, and they'll have the car looked over to make sure it's in good condition. So it's a safe way to buy a car. Let me get another drink. Hold on. Have you guys ever had bronchitis before? I don't think I've ever had it. Man, it just sort of sticks with you forever. I still have a tickle in my throat. So Bruce says, how old and what stage of residency do you have to be to buy health insurance in Panama? So you can buy health insurance when you're 18 years old in Panama. The problem is with some of the insurance companies, they won't write a new policy if you're over 74. But the exception to that is Hospital Santa Fe in Panama City. There's no age restriction on that. But I think it would be a good idea to, as soon as you get your temporary residency, as soon as you know you're going to be applying, contact one of the insurance brokers listed in our online guide, and they can give you all the insurance options that are available to you. Then you can pick the one that's the best. What is the cost of health insurance? Well, it depends on which health insurance you get. You can get like the family medical plan, and let's say you're between 60 and 69 years old, that's $117 a month. You can get Hospital Santa Fe if you're between 60 and 69 years old. I think their price is $130 a month. It's only going to cover you in Panama. You can get international health insurance, and if you're before you're 65 years old, you're looking at about $3,000 a year. So there's all kinds of different variables. If you go to our website and if you search health insurance options, we have a list of all the different companies that do health insurance and a link to their brochure so you can see what they cover, and that'll give you a general idea of what insurance is available here in Panama. Lynn wants to know, when we come to David as a tourist from the U.S., are there any issues with renting a car for the week we are there? There's no issues with renting a car. However, you should know that some car rental places will not rent to someone that's 70 years or older. But if you're coming to David, one of the car rental companies we recommend is Cowboy Cars out of Boquete. They'll come to the airport and pick you up in David. They don't have an age restriction. Some of the car rental places do have an age restriction. I had bronchitis and the doctor told me the bad news, it'll take 18 weeks. Oh no, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks already, and it's like it just won't go away. But I'm getting better. I'm much better. Do you have to be actively collecting Social Security or just prove how much you'll receive? You have to actually be receiving Social Security for you to qualify for a pensionado visa. They'll want to see a bank statement that shows you've already collected at least one payment. Does Panama accept TRICARE Prime? So I know Panama accepts TRICARE and TRICARE for Life. TRICARE Prime, I'm not familiar with that. but I'll find out. If you'll send an email to me at info@Panama Relocation Tours to remind me to find out if they accept TRICARE Prime, then I'll find out and I'll let you know. By the way, if you had a question for me and it just scrolled up to the top and I completely missed it, you're going to have to type it in again, and remember to put those 3 question marks in front of it so that I can see the questions, because it's already off the screen. I can't see them anymore. So if you have a question for me, just type it in again and put 3 question marks in front of it. I sure hope I'm not going to have this bronchitis thing for 18 weeks. That does not sound like fun. My wife's FBI report shows an arrest for a misdemeanor, which was subsequently dropped. Is that a problem? If it's a misdemeanor, then it's not a problem at all. Depending on what the misdemeanor was, it was drug possession or something like that, your immigration attorney may have to apply for special permission from immigration for you to get the visa, but they may be able to just show that it was subsequently dropped and then just get you approved without any problems. I'm interested in whether the HIP patient's $27,000 was for private or public health care. All these big numbers that I'm talking about are for a private hospital, not a public hospital. By the way, the lady that had the $27,000 hip replacement, when she went to the hospital in the ambulance, they discovered that she also had I think it's called a sepsis, or it's an infection in her blood, and that had to be cleared up. But it took like a week to get that cleared up before they could even do the surgery. Now, I don't even know if you could get a hip replacement surgery at a public hospital. At the public hospitals, there's a waiting list for things like heart surgery, hip replacement, knee replacement, all those things. Unless it's an absolute emergency, they're just not doing those things. My wife is a certified occupational therapist assistant. Will she be able to do that in Panama? She will not be able to do that in Panama. Anything that's health related is a protected profession in Panama, so she would not be able to practice in Panama. Ernie says, Jackie, thank you. You're right. This is a true game changer. We have United Healthcare Advantage. Thank you. Thank you. What about prescription cost? I'm still hoping for May 2025. So for Medicare Advantage in United Healthcare, I have that also. It only covers urgent care or emergencies. It's not going to cover prescription costs in Panama. However, if you have, and I'll talk about this in my article, make sure everybody read that article about why you should keep Medicare whenever you move to Panama. So for your prescription medications, you're going to, you're assigned a doctor in the United States when you have Medicare Advantage. You could have a telemedicine with your doctor in the U.S. like every 3 months, and you could get your prescriptions filled. He can send the prescription over to Amazon Pharmacy and then have them sent to Panama. From what I understand, you'd only pay $3 per prescription, plus whatever it costs, maybe $3 to get it here to Panama. So that's another big plus about Medicare Advantage. Some medications are cheaper in Panama. Some medications are more expensive in Panama. Some medications are not even available here in Panama. So if you have Medicare Advantage, you can get your prescriptions filled in the U.S. At Amazon Pharmacy or some other online pharmacies, and then you can get them sent here and save a ton of money. I do not have a pension. I have a passive income through investments. What type of visa should I apply for? And is it difficult? I'm over 65. So if you don't have a pension that's a lifetime income, like a pension, Social Security, military retirement, then you're not going to qualify for the pensionado visa. So your other options are going to be the friendly nation visa, but also there's things like the self-economic solvency visa. If you go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and search other visa options, it's going to have a long list of all the different visa options that are available. There's a professional visa. If you have a college degree in a profession that's not protected here in Panama, you can get a visa for that. You can get a a reforestation visa where you buy like a little teak farm or something. So there's a lot of other visa options. Search other visa options on our website to see what's available. Nope, clicked on wrong one. Sorry about that. Like I said, there's all kinds of conversations going on, and it's swirling up so fast I can't see them all. Can you provide more information about the dental services in Panama? So dental service is really good. You know, I've only had my teeth cleaned. I get my teeth cleaned about every 4 months. For me, it's $42.50 to get my teeth cleaned, and every once a year they'll do the panoramic x-rays. That's included in the $42. But as far as crowns and bridges and implants and things like that, I haven't had that done. We did do a video with someone that had some implants done, and the prices are going to range depending on which doctor you go to. The dentists are very good in Panama. By the way, the dentist actually cleans your teeth. It's not going to be a hygienist or somebody else. It's going to be the dentist that cleans your teeth and gives you, the news about anything that might need to be done. I've heard a tax letter was a new RQMT for professional visa. I'm $25 short for pensionado. Any other changes for the professional visa? So if you're $25 short for the pensionado visa, let me tell you a little option that might work for you. Did you know that you can buy an annuity that produces a lifetime income, say $200 a month? It wouldn't cost very much to get that. Then you could add the annuity income plus your pension income together to qualify for the pensionado visa. We have in our online Panama relocation guide, we have information about buying an annuity, who we recommend that you buy it from. You need to work closely with your immigration attorney to make sure that the annuity says it's for lifetime income, but it wouldn't cost hardly anything to get an annuity that pays $100 a month or $200 a month. Then you could get the pensionado visa. It's so much faster, so much cheaper. That it's the most affordable visa you could possibly get. So I think going that route would be a better way to go. Maria says, we're booked for the PRT for March and can't wait to come and meet you. We will have access to the guide before we come on the tour. So whenever you come on an all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama relocation tour, right after your tour, you get free access to the Panama relocation guide. And I keep that updated. I've got 4 new updates that I made this week that I need to send out. So I'm updating it all the time. Plus you get access to our private Facebook group, where I offer ongoing support. And it's not just me, it's all the members, the people that have already moved here. You can, like someone today say, where's the best nursery to go to buy big, tall plants? And just things like that. And everybody pitches in to help each other with that transition of moving to Panama. Okay, this one scrolled up and I'm trying to get to it. Is it legal and honest to use Medicare Advantage if you are permanently living in Panama and only file U.S. taxes? What's your personal experience with flooded roads, ever temporarily stranded? So I've never ever been in a situation where the road was flooded, ever. I guess it depends on where you live. So, the Medicare Advantage, you have to have a U.S. address to have Medicare Advantage. But if you get the right Medicare Advantage plan, that's why it's so important to work with someone that has 20 years of experience working with expats, like the 2 people that we recommend. Then they're going to get a plan for you that says you can be outside of the United States indefinitely or 1 year. There are some Medicare Advantage plans that it only covers you for the first 90 days out of the United States. That does you no good if you're living in Panama full time. So it's absolutely essential that you get the right Medicare Advantage plan if you're living in Panama permanently. Some Medicare Advantage plans are going to require that you go back to the U.S. at least for 1 day, once a year. Some of them are going to require that you have a telecommunication call with your physician that you're assigned to at least once a year, and that suffices. You don't have to actually go back. So you need to talk to the Medicare Advantage people that are knowledgeable about working with expats to make sure you get a plan that works for you. Let them know, I don't really want to go back to the US, or I plan to go back once a year, or I need something that includes drugs, or I don't take any I got one that includes no medications because I don't take any till I got bronchitis. Then I had to start taking a lot of meds. But so you need to customize Medicare Advantage plans, not one size fits all. I thought annuities did not qualify for a pensionado visa. Some annuities do not qualify for a pensionado visa, but if you get an annuity that's issued by an insurance company like Nationwide Insurance, and it specifically says that you're going to get X number of dollars for a lifetime, then that qualifies for a pensionado visa. For all of you that are waiting for the 2 years until you can, or 3 years or 5 years until you can draw your Social Security, an annuity might be a good option for you. Can I legally get a med prescription from my doctor in the US and have the med mailed to Panama? Yes, you can. People do it every single day. They have medications. I have supplements that are sent to me, but even prescription meds, you can have them sent using one of the mail forwarding companies. So what's a mail forwarding company, you might be saying, if you're new? So if you go to our website, Panama Relocation Tours, upper right-hand corner, search Amazon, and that's going to explain to you what is a mail forwarding company. So whether it's prescriptions that you're getting sent here, an Amazon order you're getting sent here, if you like to still keep on shopping at Walmart and get that sent here, you can do all of those things using a mail forwarding company. That article will explain how it works. Bill says, can your pensionado visa be revoked for any reason? Your pensionado visa can be revoked for 2 reasons. One reason is there's no requirement to live in Panama whenever you get your visa. You just have to come back every 2 years for at least 1 day. You have to be here every 2 years. If you leave Panama and you don't come back, your visa could be revoked. The other reason is if you commit a crime in Panama. They'll revoke your visa and they'll deport you. So be a good boy whenever you get here. We don't want that to happen. I thought I clicked on it, but it popped away. Would our Australian VPN work in Panama for a laptop during the tour? Absolutely. Your Australian VPN will work just fine. You'll just set it, to Australia, and then it'll be fine. I use NordVPN. You have to use it here in Panama if you want to watch Netflix, if you want to have a good selection, if you want to watch Amazon Prime, even get into some websites. You can't get to it if you have a Panama IP address, so you have to use the VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. And it's a way for you to hide your IP address so you can get to the things that you want to go to on that World Wide Web. Do the hospitals in Panama accept Pacific Blue Cross Blue Shield from Panama? My guess is, I don't know. I don't want to give you false information. If you would please send me an email about that, then I can find out and I'll let you know. Send an email to info@panamarelocationtours.com and I'll find out. It'd be great to know that they do. But I don't want to say maybe they do, maybe they don't. With so many of the insurances, the way it's been the whole time I've lived here is that you have an insurance that says, oh, we're going to cover you in Panama, which is great that they're going to cover you in Panama. The problem is the hospital didn't accept the insurance. So that meant you had to prepay, and then you had to get all your bills together. You had to translate them into English. You had to hire someone to code them. Then you had to file a claim. And then you had to wait, like I waited 9 months to get reimbursed whenever I filed my claim after I paid $15,000 when I had COVID. That's not fun. You don't know if and they're always trying to come up with some reason not to pay you. So having this opportunity, you can just show your insurance card and you're completely taken out of the equation for filing any claims. It's a game changer for Panama. It absolutely is. Is there an incident? You can call the police and they will come. So yes, you can call the police and they will come. There's a 911. There's also several different services in Panama that is a bilingual operator. It's a paid service. Like there's one in Boquete. It's $90 a year for their service. If you have an emergency, you need the police or you need the fire department, or if you have a wreck or something like that, you can call them and they'll get the medical service. They'll get the medical people to you. Greg wants to know, is building a house in Panama a bad idea? In my opinion, it's a bad idea to build a house in Panama. It's better to buy a pre-existing home, an existing home, and then make any modifications to it that you want to. Unless you're fluent in Spanish, then you might want to tackle building a home. But you know, I did a complete kitchen and bathroom remodel. I did an addition to my house, and it's not fun. Someone was asking if they would lose their Social Security disability if they moved to Panama. So it depends on the answer to that. You need to talk to Social Security and find out. In some cases, I've known people that if they were outside of the United States more than 6 months and they lost their disability. But it just depends on what your disability is and what the requirements are for your disability. So you need to talk to Social Security. Thank you for the Medicare Advantage arrangement. You mentioned family unification for a child after we get our permanent visa. Or how can the child be added them? So you would just, you know, whoever you get your visa from, whichever immigration attorney that you use, let them know when you get your visa that once I get my permanent visa, I want to add my 18-year-old child. When I get my permanent visa, they'll have the paperwork ready and waiting. So as soon as you get your permanent visa, then you can add your child. The great thing about that is then they're going to be able to get a permanent visa without having to reapply. So it's a much better way to go. Phil says, thanks, Jackie. What social issues are they dealing with in Panama? For example, homelessness, drug overdose, and immigration. So the biggest there's two big social issues that they're dealing with in Panama. You know, in my opinion, the last president that we had was not very good. And so a lot of people became unemployed. So our new president is trying to do things to get the economy rolling again and get unemployment, get that under control. I think our unemployment is like 5% right now. In some areas, like in Panama City, in some areas it's much higher, like 12%. So they're just trying to create jobs. So unemployment is a problem. The other big problem is the illegal migrants that are still coming through the Darien Gap. They did start flying some of them back to the country that they came from, but it's a big burden on Panama to have to deal with that financially, manpower, and everything else. Homelessness isn't really a problem in Panama. You're not going to see tent cities like you do in the U.S. And you don't hardly ever see people begging for money here. Rarely that you see anything like that. Can you get psych meds on Medicare Advantage plan from your U.S. doctor? I don't know the answer to that question. You'd have to ask your U.S. doctor if they can prescribe those and then get them shipped to Panama. I don't know. I think that you would have trouble getting any kind of narcotic medication shipped into Panama. You could buy it here, possibly, but it depends. You'd have to visit with a doctor. But getting some medications that are controlled substance, you're not going to be able to ship those in. They'd be confiscated by customs. When you do the Medicare presentation, can you also discuss any options for using Medicare supplements like AARP? So Medicare supplements like Medigap and things like that, they don't work in Panama. The problem is with Medigap and things like that, it only covers you the first 90 days you're outside of the United States, and there's a $50,000 lifetime. That's all you're going to get is $50,000 in your lifetime in overseas coverage. So it really doesn't do you any good. If you had a major heart attack and had to have surgery, it could cost $50,000 just for that here in Panama. Does U.S. mail forwarding address work for getting Medicare Advantage plan? Yes, it does. Whenever I signed up for Medicare Advantage, I gave my mail forwarding address, which is in Miami, and they sent me my card and they sent me this little package that explains all of my plans. So no problem at all getting that shipped to you right here in Panama. How are same-sex couples received in Panama? They're received, if you're a nice person, we don't care what color, what sexual orientation you are, or which planet you came from. Nobody cares. So long as you're just a nice person, everybody just gets along here in Panama. You should know, though, that if you're a same-sex couple, Panama doesn't recognize that as far as getting a visa. So for getting a residency visa, you're each going to have to apply individually for your residency visa. Do you think you will ever return to live in the U.S.? I don't think so. I love living in Panama. I was in the U.S. I'm in Texas in July. I went back for my birthday to spend it with my son and my daughter-in-law, and I was only there a week. And honestly, I was there a couple of days, and I was really, really missing Panama. I just love Panama. I can't imagine moving back. I'm sure there could be some situation that could make me want to go back, but right now I love living in Panama. I miss my kids. I talk to them every day, but I love living here. I was told today from the VSO that TRICARE for Life is also suspended in Panama. I know TRICARE is, you can use your TRICARE at Hospital Cherokee in David. As far as TRICARE for Life, I don't know. I would have to talk to the VSO and also talk to our billing company to see if you can use that if you have a medical emergency. For routine care, I don't know. Just please send me an email and I will get to the bottom of that. And all these people that are sending me questions about things that I don't know the answer to, I try to know everything, but I just can't because a lot of new things have happened in just the last week. With this FMP situation. So if you'll send that to me, once I know the answers, then I'll send out an email to let everyone know what the answer is. Because if you're wondering about TRICARE for Life, other people are probably wondering also. I'm trying to click on one. I have medical insurance with Cigna, Bupa. Do I have to pay up front for medical care and then reimburse for the insurance? So Cigna is one of the insurances that if you have a medical emergency with Cigna, you're not going to have to prepay. It'll be covered. The hospital will just contact the billing company. You just have to show your card. Now, if Cigna covers other things in Panama, like routine medical care, prescriptions, MRIs, things like that, you would probably have to get pre-approval from Cigna before you had those things done. But if you have a medical emergency, it's covered. Some hospitals accept Bupa, but some do not. As far as Aetna, you have all three of those. You could probably save some money and get rid of some of those. You might want to talk to one of our Medicare experts to find out which one you could get rid of so that you don't have to keep paying so much money for 3 different insurances. Any insight on quality of eye doctors and the cost of new glasses and cataract and contacts? So I have had 3 eye surgeries since I moved to Panama. A couple of years before I moved here, I tripped on a blanket and I fell down the stairs at my house in Dallas, Texas. And I hit my head so hard, I detached the retinas in both of my eyes. So I had to have emergency surgery called a macular hole surgery, where they inserted gas bubbles in my eyeballs so that they could grow back together again. And I had to lay face down for 3 weeks on my husband bought a massage table for me to lay on. And even if I got up to eat or for the bathroom, I had to be bent over at the waist. I could never sit up. I had to be bent over so my eyes could grow back together again. Well, one of the disadvantages of having that macular hole surgery is you're likely to get a cataract. And I did get a cataract in one of my eyes, so then I had to have cataract surgery in Texas. Well, after I got to Panama, I started having some vision problems. So I went to an ophthalmologist in Panama City, who everybody said he was the best. And after his exam, he said that, yes, you have you have a secondary cataract in this eye, but you've got scar tissue from your accident in your other eye, and we need to do a lens replacement in that one. So I had cataract surgery, lens replacement surgery, secondary cataract surgery, and then I had one other surgery for my eyes. I don't remember what. Anyway, it was excellent. But then I still get my eyes checked often. I just got my eyes checked about 4 months ago, and I needed glasses because with my new lenses, I hadn't needed glasses. But after I got COVID, my eyes changed. For some reason, my eyes changed. So I needed to get some glasses. So the eye exam with an ophthalmologist, new frames, new glasses, was $135. So long story to answer your question. What was the announcement? So what I suggested you do, Patricia, instead of me going through it all over again, is after we end this live stream, I suggest you watch the rerun or the replay of it, and then we made the announcement at the beginning. 2 important announcements, really good news. If early retiring at 60 was the easiest insurance option until age 65. So the easiest insurance option is for you to get one of the Panama insurance companies, like the Family Medical Plan. That's going to be about $100 a month for you. If you're going to be living in Panama City, I would say get Hospital Santa Fe insurance, but there's some other options. So if you go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and you type in health insurance options, you'll see what all of your options are. Are there any rental companies that have 6 or more people banned for rental? There might be, but I don't know who they are. I don't know who's going to have van rentals. Can expats share the cost of renting a property together by cohabitating? Now, what they're going to require on the lease is that one person is on the lease, and then you have to get permission from your landlord for you to be able to sublease it to other people. That has to be in the lease in writing. Otherwise, you could lose your lease and lose your deposit. But I do know people that do that here in Panama. Any earthquakes, tornadoes, or hurricanes? So we don't have hurricanes. We don't have tornadoes in Panama. We do get an earthquake every once in a while. We had one the other night. I was going to bed like at 10 o'clock at night, and I felt this little rumble. It lasted for about 1 second, and then it was over. Usually, unless you're sitting really still, you don't even feel the earthquakes. Dennis said, I had eye surgery as well. I think it's called vitrectomy on my eyes, and praise God, you and I are both doing just fine. Yep, I'm doing just fine. I don't need glasses unless I'm driving, but if I'm driving, seeing further away, I need glasses. It's crazy how when I got COVID that my eyes changed. I didn't know that that was a side effect, but apparently it is. Have you had any federal retirees come on the trip? I asked, since we had lifetime health care insurance, we wouldn't want to give that up. So yes, we've had several federal retirees that have come on the tour and that have moved here to Panama, and they have Blue Cross Blue Shield or something called GIHA as another federal insurance. So that's available. By the way, GIHA and Blue Cross Blue Shield are both on the list of approved insurances that this billing company will work with. John says, when I get my docs ready to send to my immigration lawyer in Panama, do I need to first get them translated here before I send them, or get them authenticated by the Panama consulate? So you don't need to get any of your documents translated before you send them to your immigration attorney. That has to be done in Panama by a certified translator. However, you do have to get your documents authenticated at the Panama consulate that's closest to you. And that could be Houston, Long Beach, Miami, just wherever the consulate is. Sometimes you can walk it in if you want to. If there's not one close to you, you can mail it in with like Federal Express or DHL. Just make sure you include a return envelope for it to come back to you. Can you suggest the name of an audiologist in Panama City? Sorry, I don't have a recommendation for an audiologist in Panama City, I'm sure if you do a Google search, some of them will come up, but I don't have a recommendation. I live about 8 hours away from Panama City and don't go there very often. I would like to stay for a week after the tour. Should I book ahead, or is there enough accommodations to book when we're there at the end of November? At the end of November, November 28th is a major holiday in Panama. It's an Independence Day. We have 5 holidays in November. If you're going to be here around November 28th, I would absolutely recommend that you get your room booked in advance because it's a time whenever Panamanians go out and they're staying in hotels and restaurants. How are the stars at night? I presume they are spectacular. Well, if it's not a cloudy night like tonight, we don't have any clouds. I have a 180-degree mountain view from my living room. And so if it's a really clear night, then the stars are absolutely spectacular. If it's cloudy, then of course you don't see anything. We have the GIHA. I'm allowed to suspend my health care if I want to pause it for any time period. I'm a federal retiree and don't want to lose mine either. I don't know about suspending your health care. If you can use it in Panama, I don't know any reason why you'd want to suspend it. Just going to take a couple more questions. I'm losing my voice again. Someone asked, how much cash should we bring for the tour? I would like to know too. So I would say that you should bring, if you're going to be someone that wants to buy some souvenirs to take home, you might want to bring $500 cash. If you're not into the whole souvenir thing, $100, $200 will be plenty. Remember, the tour is an all-inclusive tour. So we pay for everything, all your hotels, your ground transportation, we pay for your meals. The only thing we don't pay for is alcoholic beverages or souvenirs. So you're going to have to buy that yourself. So if you drink a lot of alcohol, you might need a lot of money, or a lot of the places we go to will take a credit card. I'll take one more question. I'm on your tour starting November 29th. Will I be able to stay at the hotel a few days before, or will I be too busy because of the holiday? So it's not going to be too busy. You're going to be able to stay at the hotel before the tour. It'll be in Panama City. Most of the people in Panama City leave. They come to the interior, to the other parts of the country. As far as after the tour, it starts on 29th, the holiday will be over. Now, there is another holiday that happens on December 8th, is Mother's Day, and that's a big deal here in Panama. There'll be parades, hotels will be full, restaurants will be full. So November 28th is a holiday, December 8th is Mother's Day. It'd probably be a good idea. There's always going to be a place where you can stay, but if you know you want to stay at a certain place, it'd be a good idea to make that reservation in advance. So I want to thank everybody so much for joining me for our Wednesday, for our Wednesday Move to Panama Q&A live stream. I'm still getting used to this, doing one on Wednesday and one on Saturday. Thank you for joining me on our Wednesday night Move to Panama Q&A. I got to as many questions as I possibly could. I'm sure I missed some. So if I missed any of the questions, please send an email to info@PanamaRelocationTours.com, or if it can wait, you can join me next Wednesday for our next Q&A live stream. I hope you learned something new. I bet you did. And I hope you like the big announcements that I made. Don't forget, we added 2 new tours, one in October, one in November. They're almost sold out. So if you want to come on one of those tours, I would recommend that you grab a seat on it. If not tonight, do it tomorrow. We only require a $500 deposit, and you can come and see how you can live better here in Panama. You'll be amazed when you see it. Good night, everybody. Thanks again for joining me.